What kind of sultan is Shah Naqshband, Hazratli? Look, it says he was walking along the road. Someone approached him and said, Salamun alaikum. It says, Shah Naqshband, Hazratli replied, Alaikum salam. He said, can I be your companion on the road? He said, go away from me. He said, don't bother me. Now, the one who came says, do you know who I am? He said, now, people here say it differently, but back in the day they used to say it a lot to traffic police. Do you know who I am? When they were about to get a ticket, like I'm so-and-so's nephew and so on, go check. Even his uncle had no idea about it. He said, do you know who I am? He said, Shah Naqshband, Hazrat there, he says, I know, you are Hizir. So, we are following the path of a sultan who spoke to Hizir like that. I told this before, but let me tell you another one. If you pay attention in the Quran, you see how Allah the Almighty repeats many things over and over. There was a time, my brother, and it was like this. Haja, you keep repeating the same things over and over, but look, this is the sunnah of Allah at work. Why does Allah keep repeating things in the verses again and again? He knows better than me that if something is only explained once, it won't stick in our minds. Look, I told this before. One of the grandchildren remembered the story about Hizir. How would a poor guy like me pray? Oh Lord, let me meet Hizir, I would say. He kept praying and praying, ended up wandering in the desert, and they say he lost his mind. Years went by, and he still couldn't see Hizir, they say. Anyway, one day he came to his senses at home and pulled himself together again. Once more, as he was praying, oh Lord, let me see Hizir, look at his persistence. Suddenly, just like that, Hizir appeared right beside him. He said, here I am Hizir. What do you want? I will grant whatever you wish. He took off his cloak and put it on the man. He also placed his turban on his head. He said, alright, from now on you are Hizir. Whatever you wish for, whatever you pray for, will come true, just like it does for me. Wow, what a lucky man. He found a place early too. Back then, there was a marketplace. Now he says, let me go out to the bazaar to a whole bunch of people. Look, do you see how Hizir remains unseen? Do you see his secret? God forbid. That's why I say, remember, I told you about that father who never greeted anyone. I was just about to mention when I was telling his story. There are such secrets. Why do they see the truth of things? He immediately goes out to the marketplace. Like I said, what was it now? I'll see Mr. Saeed. Maybe Mr. Murad would be with him too. And Muharram would be at the foot of the pole. But when he steps out, there's neither Mr. Saeed nor Mr. Murad. That's how the bazaar is. It's usually full of shopkeepers. But pardon me, it's all pigs, donkeys, monkeys, snakes, all around. There's not a single person around. He walks the entire length of the bazaar. He says, how shocked I was. God forbid. Now, I always say this about the current situation, right? If I told anyone, don't wish for your spiritual eyes to be opened, don't wish for it, Mr. Tariloki immediately jumped in. If you put everyone in that state, how could you call them your lifelong friend? You hug them so lovingly, right? But when you meet, you suddenly see they're like a dragon, a snake. Just like that, like Prophet Moses stuff, big enough to swallow even Pharaoh's palace. Just as I'm about to hug them, they open their mouth, ready to swallow you whole. Could you still hug them with a smile like before? Oh God, you immediately throw yourself in, let's see. Now see everyone in their true form. There isn't a single man like that in the marketplace. You go all the way to the end of the market, and look, are there any old men with white hair and beards, with radiant, saintly faces? He says, thank God I found one man now. Let's see. He put on a robe and wore a turban too. There's no one to show off to. Is he supposed to tell the snake, ask me for my wife? He says, peace be upon you, blessed one, and peace be upon you. He says, I am Hizir. If you have a wish, ask me and I'll grant it. Look at that. There are saintly mothers around and we didn't even know. He takes a look. She says, if I'm going to meet Hizir, I'll have him come to my house. But the real Hizir is already in her house. See, she knows about that. Look at this sultana. Who else are you looking for?